Good afternoon, UAAP fans! Welcome to the Araneta Coliseum, and this is the 2010 UAAP Special Awards for the Men's Seniors Basketball Division. Let's kick things off with our first award, the Appleton Most Improved Player of the Season Award. Handing out the trophy, 10,000 pesos in cash and 10,000 pesos worth of gift certificates, is Mr. Ricky Palu from Ateneo, the UAAP Vice President of Season 73. And from Appleton, Mr. Willie De Los Santos, Senior Consultant of Darley Trading Corporation, and Mr. Richard Lim, the President of Darley Trading Corporation.
Offensive play of Ateneo.
Montfort can't seem to miss today. 19 points. Montfort launches, gets it to go.
Off the pick and roll play here.
From averaging 4.8 points in season 72 to nearly doubling his average to 8.8 points, entering the finals of season 73, the Appleton Most Improved Player of the Season from the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles, Eman Montfort.
Achieving back-to-back is a difficult task, but going for a three-peat is a rarity in any sport. In fact, in the history of the UAAP, only 4 teams have been able to do it. In the last 4 decades, 39 years to be exact, only 2 teams have been able to pull it off. De La Salle between 1998 to 2001 and FEU between 2003 to 2005. Now history beckons for this batch of Ateneo players as they are trying to be the first Blue Eagle team to pull it off and make themselves part of an elite circle of three-peat champions. And a win today will help them achieve that. For FEU, a win today will help them just stay alive and kick this series into a sudden death, winner-take-all match on Saturday. And they are trying to prove to the UAAP community that they are here as real foes and not just mere foils. Welcome to the spectacle that is the finals of the UAAP. Game 2 of the best-of-3 series of the 73rd season men's basketball tournament of the UAAP between the defending champion Ateneo de Manila University and the #1 ranked team Far Eastern University.
I just get goosebumps.
The Blue Eagles showed their championship experience and heights. Will Game 2 be Ateneo's Coronation Night?
When I salute the crowd after a big play.
Sarap ng pakiramdam.
Walang tatalo sa samahan.
The true Tamaraos never showed up in Game 1. Will FEU come back and prove that it's not done.
The big advantage of Ateneo was the high field goal percentage. Rebounds, lamang sila ng konti. Turnovers, lamang sila ng konti. But they just executed 10 times better than we did.
We know it's only one game though. It takes 2 games to win a championship series in UAAP, so we're happy, we're excited, but we're not too overconfident at this point. We know that FEU can bounce back.
Game 2.
Games in the bag. 3-peat. Punta kayo! Mabawi kami ng game 2!
Broadcasting live on ABS-CBN Channel 2. ABS-CBN Sports proudly presents Game 2 of the finals between the FEU Tamaraws and the Ateneo Blue Eagles in Season 73 of your UAAP.
Go Ateneo! One big fight! Go Ateneo! One big fight! Let's go Tamaraws! Let's go! Let's go Tamaraws! Let's go!
Back here at the Araneta Coliseum, yes, we are minutes away from the main event Thursday showcase. Will it be the last day of Season 73 of the UAAP? Well, that will all be up to the defending champions, Ateneo de Manila University, looking to sweep the FEU Tamaraws, and FEU looking to stay alive to extend the series to a winner-take-all match on Saturday. We are happy to have you here live on Studio 23, the replays in Balls Channel 34, and of course, the UAAP Finals is available in high definition on Balls HD Channel 167. For ABS-CBN Sports, my name is Boone Gonzalez, alongside DJ Manoto, who also did game number 1, and of course, Jessica Mendoza, Stephanie C, also joining us from Ateneo and FEU respectively. We'll check in with them in a bit. It's good to see you girls. Good to see everybody here from the Araneta Coliseum. DJ, in the so-called battle between experience and talent, experience 1-0. The battle between defense and offense, defense 1-0. I hate to be not so eloquent about my description of game number 1, but it was called an old-fashioned blank whooping, so to speak.
Well, I was at a loss for words. I was running out of adjectives all throughout the game with just, you know, the sheer dominance of Ateneo from the first quarter all throughout. There was not even a significant run that I can remember from FEU that really threatened to break the barrier of at least a double-digit lead. It was just absolute dominance, and Ateneo showed the way from the very first get-go. You know, Eric and I were saying it seemed like after the first 5 minutes that they were hit hard, hit strong. It's like a boxer, you got him on the ropes early. They were dazed the rest of the way.
Ateneo kind of took advantage of the opening jitters, championship jitters of FEU, that 15-0 blitz. After that, it was a one-ball game already for the back-to-back champions. Okay, encapsulate for us, DJ, in numbers, in averages, in statistics, what really happened in game number 1?
Well, if you look at the numbers, you can see more, you know, a little more specifically as to where really, what aspects of the game Ateneo showed utter dominance. Number 1, field goal shooting. They shot at a high clip of 47.5%. There were parts in the ball game they were even shooting above 50%, but this one they were consistent in their defense. They held down FEU to 27% shooting from the field, and that only really got better towards the latter part in the fourth quarter when they were starting to get their shots going. But most of the ball game they were about 25, 22 and below. It was really a really horrible shooting day for the Tamaraws. Field goal shooting, and then fast break points, of course, Ateneo went 15-0, and then there was bench scoring 32-12. But we look at this again. Field goal shooting was a key factor for Ateneo. They spread out the ball so well as they normally do. They spread out their men so well. They were posting up the guards. They were attracting the big men to help on the double teams. They were getting easy drop passes inside. A lot of easy points were coming for Ateneo, and even the hard ones came for them. They ran at will.
Yes.
You know, moving on to the fast break points, 15-0. in the first quarter, my jaw was dropping. There were some shots that they were taking in the fast breaks. They were the kind of shots that coach would say, no, back it up. But they just kept going and going and going. And FEU, on the other hand, as amazing and unbelievable as it is, 0 fast breaks the whole ball game. And Ateneo just went at will, and it's what Norman always said throughout the year. He wants to be the best defensive team. He wants to be the best running team, and that's what they have been. And those are the 2 major things they did also in game number 1.
He's been saying that since the start of even the preseason tournament, that he really wanted to convert this team into running team, averaging 12.3, taking it up to 15. Surprising that you said 0 for FEU when they averaged close to 10. So
Exactly. Now here's another factor. Bench scoring is huge for Ateneo. Around the 7-minute mark of the first quarter, Norman already changed his whole starting 5. He had a whole new group on the floor supporting the first guys who came on the floor. 32 points from the bench of Ateneo. This sounds like, you gotta give it credit to like a LaSalle statistic. You know how LaSalle dominated bench scoring this year, but FEU, they're the number 1 team in terms of starter scoring. They average about 45 points a ball game, but the support was not there. They only had 12 points, and their bench really has to step up because they know they can. They've shown that throughout the year they are one of the most talented teams in the league, and they have to if they want to survive.
One of the deepest and most talented, as you mentioned, and Ateneo also coming up with a couple of surprises in terms of their lineups, and we'll talk more about that when we continue to break it down for game number 2 of the finals between Ateneo and FEU. Stay with us, please. Here at the Araneta Coliseum for the pre-game for game number 2 of the finals between Ateneo and FEU. Thank you very much for joining us live on Studio 23 from the Big Dome. TJ, coming into the finals, the biggest concern for a lot of the Ateneo fans was the fact that their front line, even you mentioned that, would their front line be able to match up man for man with the front line of FEU?
Well, they were only asking then, and we were asking, can they match up? But they did more than match up. They really surpassed all expectations, and they surpassed what FEU did in game number 1. And we're talking about the centers of attraction right there, the centers of attention. Justin Chua was huge in game number 1, 13 points, 4 out of 5 from the field with 5 rebounds. JP Eram came in the game because Jaco Escueta had to serve his suspension, and he came out to be a blessing in disguise. Only 4 points and 3 rebounds in limited minutes, but boy, he came up huge in shot blocks. He had 5 big blocks in that ball game. JP Eram, aside from those blocks, the things that you don't see on the stat sheet, the shots that he altered, the people that he forced to fake and, kick the ball out of the paint, that he was an intimidating force in the paint, like Aldrich Ramos is expected to be, but he was not. So it was so odd to see this guy who hasn't seen much playing time the whole season to come in there with so much confidence and just play like there was no tomorrow, and that's what he did. On the other hand, Justin Chua scoring all those points. There's one statistic also that does not show up in the stat sheet, which we really tried to dig in and look well into for Ateneo. They had a lot of uncontested layups, and we did the research. We really viewed the game over again.
We watched the game all over again.
There were 19 uncontested layups, and that is just out of this world. I can't explain it.
And we're not talking about fast breaks here. Sometimes in half-court sets.
It adds to the fast breaks, but they only had 15 fast break points. So give or take, 10 of those fast break points were uncontested because they got away. They got ahead. Another 28 points came uncontested layups under the basket in a half-court set, and that is unforgivable. As a coach in a championship game, you will instruct your players to say, make them earn it at the line. If they're going to get an uncontested layup, you go hard for the foul, you go for the block. Speaking of blocks, Aldrich Ramos had 0 fouls.
Yes.
And he was not his usual shot block himself.
And yes, FEU is not one of the best defensive teams, but you're talking about this is the championship.
You got to step it up.
Definitely they have to step it up. The surprise package, of course, JP Eram. I like the point that you made earlier, TJ, the fact that not only did he provide all of those things, but he came in with confidence.
Absolutely.
And he knew he could do it. And Jessica Mendoza joins us now from the Ateneo side to tell us more about JP Aram. Jessica, go ahead.
Boom, it's actually kind of funny. When I spoke to JP Aram, he told me that the main difference between playing in Game 1 and playing all the other games he's played in UAAP was that mas nakakakaba yung finals game. He added that he didn't do anything special to prepare for that game, but sabi nga niya, his practice was actually steady lang, but he did expect certain things from himself. He said, in-expect ko na gawin ko yung role ko at kailangan no turnovers. Now, as for Coach Lomba, he did admit that it was mostly Jason Escueta's suspension that put JP back on rotation, and that he's happy with his performance. Now, whether or not Aram is going to be playing the same kind of minutes today, it still remains to be seen.
All right, Jessica. Thank you.
Alam mo, minsan yung mga ganyan, you get that one time, and that's good enough sometimes.
Well, it's a big question mark. I mean, for all you know, if Jumbo doesn't perform well, if Justin gets into foul trouble, who knows? Aram might get the same kind of minutes and show up again big for them defensively.
All right, Jessica, we'll talk to you a little later on when the game goes on. The FEU Tamaraws have made their way on the court, and we'll talk more about them when we come back after this short break. Well, Ateneo goes for, or tries to go for the jugular today and sweep FEU, while FEU trying to stay alive in this best-of-3 series of the men's basketball finals of the 73rd season of the UAAP. Earlier, we talked about and broke down the great game of the front line of Ateneo, and now let's focus on the disappearance, so to speak, of the vaunted front line of FEU that has delivered all throughout the elimination round.
And they've been delivering on both ends of the court, offense and defense, but in game number 1, they were pretty much nowhere to be found. And, you know, it was really, as it is, a big disappointment what they did. You know, Real Cervantes had 7 points, but all of those came from the free throw line. People in Wando only had 6 points, and Ramos only with 6 points and 3 out of 9 from the field. These guys combined averaged 30 points a ball game, but with the numbers that they showed in that ball game, they only averaged a combined of 20 points. So way below par in terms of output, way below par in terms of defensive effort and energy as well. I mentioned earlier the 19 uncontested layups.
Yes.
These are the guys responsible at defending the basket and going for the blocks. And, you know, Cervantes and Ramos had 1 block, but other than that, you didn't see him.
Intimidation factor.
Yeah, the intimidation factor, like what Aram did. I mean, you don't expect him to have 5 blocks as well, but he was all over the place. Ramos was not all over the place. They were scampering, rotating strangely to double team some guards who weren't even scoring it at the post. It was pretty odd what FEU was doing defensively with their big men, and they just looked really lost, and they didn't have the kind of energy as you normally see these big men as the anchors of FEU's game, especially defensively.
They're looking at the 2-time mythical team member Aldrich Ramos. 2 straight years for him, and scampering probably would be the operative word of that whole paragraph of words that you've mentioned earlier, TJ, about the front line. And I guess that also speaks about the whole team. They really looked lost. They looked like you know, they got punched in the gut and were not able to recover. So we're definitely interested to find out what happened in the FEU camp, whether it's in training. Stephanie C will join us for that, whether it's in training, whether it's in the huddles, whether it's in the locker room. Well, Stephanie, please paint us a picture of the FEU Tamaraws coming into game number 2.
Well, Saturday was definitely just not their day, and the coaching staff of FEU agreed that there are various factors involved in that defeat. Pressure is definitely one of them, considering that it's the first time for the Tamaraws to get back in the finals since 2005. The crowd was also a factor in spurring the Eagles to do their best. Aside from that, not working together as a team could have played its part. In short, nagkanya-kanya kasi sila. Lastly, there was a lack of effort from the Tamaraws. But then again, like Coach Ken would always tell the guys at the end of every loss, let's learn from this. After all, what's done is done, and that game is water under the bridge. Boom and TJ?
Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Well, that's exactly what they got to do. And, you know, I was saying this at the end of game 1. It's a mental thing. They got to totally erase the memory of game number 1, because there's not much good stuff to pick out of it anyways, and go into game number 2 thinking about it as a 1 game at a time thing.
All right, we'll talk to Stephanie C later on. I wanted to focus on that. I was about to mention it. If you're a coach, and I'm talking about both sides, TJ, how do you try to erase? Because even Ateneo, there are some things obviously you can build on from game number 1.
Yep.
But you cannot coast anymore. You cannot rest on the laurels of game number 1. How do you put this game number 2 in perspective? I'm sure Ateneo, that has made the finals a playground the last 3 years, they know how to refocus for a brand new game. How do you do it if you're FU, even with a rookie coach in the finals for FU?
It's really easier said than done, and this is one of the hardest things in coaching any sport, any league.
Correct.
Motivation. You know, especially when you got guys who were demoralized that badly, it's hard to pick up and say, you know, we can do this, we can pick up from this, especially if they haven't experienced that kind of a loss before. I mean, they were not blown out this season. And you can't say, on the blowout na tayo dati, we can bounce back this way. It's tough to do that. And as they said, they didn't have the championship experience. They've never been here before, so it's really a whole new ballgame. But they have to really take all of those factors out. Erase the crowd, erase the emotion, the drama, the pressure, and think of it as a basketball game.
Yeah.
You know? And think of it as that, because as a basketball game and a basketball team, this is one damn good team. They've done so well the whole year. And you gotta build on that. They gotta build on that, how good they are and how good they can play the game, and take all the other factors out and just play it as they want to play the game.
Well, you can't use it anymore as an excuse for game number 2. They've got their feet wet already in game number 1. They know how it feels. They know how it looks. And I think, yes, there has to be a little bit of emotion for them. It's about channeling it the right way here in game number 2. We'll talk more about it as Ateneo's almost making their way here to the Araneta Coliseum, at least to the playing court. We'll take a break. We'll be back here at the Big Dome. Well, they're getting ready. Well, they're actually already on their way to the court here at the Araneta Coliseum as we are moments away from game number 2 of the finals of the UAAP 73rd season. Will it end today? A lot of factors to talk about when it comes to this matchup, Ateneo and FEU. And if you're Ateneo, the one thing that you don't want to do is give FEU that window of confidence to come back, to hang with you, maybe steal a game, and get fully confident going into game number 3.
You know, even if you're Norman Black, I don't think he's expecting a blowout again.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody in their right mind would be expecting a blowout again like what we saw in game number 1. We do expect a war today. Do we expect FEU to be favored to win it all? Maybe not, but their backs are against the wall. It's you know, I'm trying to think the last time we've seen the Tamaraws with this kind of pressure.
Yeah.
That they were never in the bottom 2 in the twice to beat scenario. Last year they were in the top 2.
Yes.
They lost it though, twice to UE. So in pressure cooker games, this is something that they really have to prove they can do well.
All right, let's look at some factoids going into the finals. I said earlier in the intro, you'll see a graphic about it, but I also said earlier, other than what you're going to see here, just from a three-peat standpoint, which is an amazing achievement in any sport, really. 39 years, only 2 teams have done it. 4 teams all in all in the history, but 39 years, only LaSalle and FEU. FEU, if you remember, was given that other championship during the Benitez controversy, LaSalle. So technically, they are three-peat champions between 2003 to 2005. Other facts that we have here.
Well, you're looking at the other interesting factors. Since 1994, Game 1 winner of the Best of 3 Finals has gone on to win it 16 times. 12 of them have gone on to win it 16 times. That's 75% winning percentage. That's how big Game 1 has been since 1994. Also, only 4 teams who have lost Game 1 have come back to win the series. Since 94, the series has gone the distance 8 out of 16 times, 50% of the time. And Ateneo is actually 3-1 when it has won Game 1 of the finals. FEU is 0-2 when it lost Game 1 of the finals. I think this is the most critical stat you're looking at right now.
I hope they don't know that.
Yeah, they're not looking at the screens right now. This is a stat we were talking about earlier, how this team responds to the pressure when their backs are against the wall. Thankfully for them, none of them were around in 1998 and year 2000. It's the school, of course. It's the history of the school. That it was also a different coach back then, and also even a different athletic director, let's put it that way, because the way Mark Molina's running the whole scenario there in FEU.
No matter what you say, though, about you know, the numbers as we see, the percentages, you know, that is the reason why the game is always played, because, you know, anything is possible. And Ateneo, Coach Norman Black, both the two coaches here today will be the one to tell you that a 1-0 lead is not safe. He had that lead in 2006, lost it to the UST Growling Tigers, to a rookie coach named Mido Harencio, and then won that championship in spectacular fashion. So he doesn't want that happening to them again with this 1-0 lead. All right, Ateneo and FEU finally locking horns when we come back here on Studio 23.
For your season 73 UAAP, the finals. First, gunning for their first three-peat ever in UAAP history. Our reigning, defending black-to-black senior champions, the Ateneo de Manila Blue Eagles. And shooting forward, number 13, Ryan Quinnabe. Best of three final series between the defending back-to-back champions and the #1 ranked team after the elimination round. Ateneo, FEU, Thursday Showcase, Boom Gonzalez, TJ Manoto, and Al Neri at the helm of this ABS-CBN Sports presentation. Hello Philippines, we're ready to go. Into the finals. Important for FEU is the start of this game.
Well, if you consider that, they want to look deeper than the starting five of Coach Glenn Field for this game. Three guys on the floor right now did not start game number one. We're talking about Sana Ramos, the guy with the ball at Semignano.
Cervantes drives, gets it up and in. He was miserable from the field.
He was 0 for 6, 0 for 7. There you go. First field goal in the finals of Ramos.
And it will be Goya and Chua. Front line, Biggs has a first foul of game number 2 is called on FEU. First, a special batch of players for Ateneo looking to give their school their first three-peat in its history. They tried before, never been able to get over the hump. They're hoping to do it today. They have 2 chances to win it as Justin Chua comes up short. And the real Cervantes clears the glass. Aaron Garcia, the MVP of season 73. Ramos. Sana, top of the circle. Got it!
Sana was 0 for 6 in game number 1, 0 for 3 from the run. You wonder why Coach Dan had the confidence to put him in at the starting 5. I guess he must have had a good week of practice. And if there's anybody who really has no fear of taking 3-point shots off those screens, it's Point Sana.
Remember what he did against
Lasal, yeah, he brought the game into overtime.
Speaking of FEU, let's check in with Stephanie C. Stephanie?
Moving on, starting a new and forgetting about last Saturday, the Tamaraws have no plans of ruining their shot of becoming the champions. So they will work double time in order to make sure that they start strong and finish even stronger. Defense and effort. These are the things that they game plan during game one. These are the things that they plan on improving and working on, specifically their transition defense. Earlier in the dugout, the Tamaraws were told by Coach Glenn to play with pride, with a lot of heart, and to give all they've got by playing as if there's no tomorrow. Sabi nga ni Coach Glenn, let's focus. Hindi biro-biro itong game ko. All business na. Alam kong kaya natin yan. So he wants the guys to believe that they can do it. On a side note, Yen Sutel might play with a fractured left hand, which is the same from last Saturday's game. Even TJ.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. And Snutel might not play today. See his left hand wrapped up. Mentos Rainbow conversion. 3-point shot brought to you by Mentos Rainbow because it's going to know what's coming next. Speaking of which, Montfort missing his first attempt. Cervantes with a couple of rebounds. He loses that one though. Let's go to Jessica Mendoza from the Ateneo side.
Long before the start of this game, I asked Coach Norman Black if he felt that the Blue Eagles played their best game last Saturday, and his answer was, I hope not. He added that it takes 2 games to win a championship, and that despite the score in game 1, the Blue Eagles still made a lot of mistakes defensively. So today it's going to be about doing what they did last week even better, boxing out, rebounding, and not allowing FEU to take wide open shots. Most importantly, Coach Norman said it's going to be about playing as a team. They need to share that ball to win this game. TJ?
Samson courtside update. Samson turn on tomorrow.
Well, we just saw Justin Chua smothered underneath by 2 big guys and FEU blocking that shot. Something that he did not experience, not even once. In number 1, he hardly was contested like this, and he was not blocked definitely in game number 1.
Rick Sonoman shot block. Rick Sonoman, unbeatable defense against Sweat. For winning blocks. Andres Ramos. 7:39 to play. 5-2 is our score. Ryan Buenafe, top of the circle. Short on the 3, exiting out it. Get the rebound and a foul by Montfort.
Not really the shot of Ryan Buenafe. He doesn't want to take his three-pointers off the dribble. Normally it's a good rotation kick out, but and we see here that Bruce Mo was picked up by Encimeñano. Montfort was in the wrong place at the wrong time, picking up that foul.
Samsung instant replay. Samsung turn on tomorrow. Another foul. No, a technical foul. This time on Paul Sala.
Referee's calling it an elbow that he threw to Kirk Long. See if we caught that on cam. This is the... Oh, there you go. Oh, it restores Justin Chua.
Samsung instant replay. Samsung. Technical foul. Obviously a personal foul.
But it didn't make contact. It didn't look like it made contact. The referees will call that regardless of contact. Actually, if it did make contact, he might even be thrown out of the game. There's an elbow above the shoulders by rules before, I don't know now. Normally it gets you out of the game. Yeah, it was by the shoulder.
Babawi na naman dun sa tubog ni Justin Chua.
Well, the ref got the second motion there. He didn't catch the initial contact, but it was a difficult angle to see if Justin is shoving too hard or throwing elbow at him.
7:19 to play. 1-point lead. 5-4 is our score. Mongolia coming out of the game. And Buenafe now downstairs against J.R. Kawali. Trying to make room for himself. Good fake.
Beautiful fake.
Almost a 3-point play opportunity at the 7:06 mark.
Well, at least this time, FEU is waiting for the guards and the forwards of Ateneo to do something well at the post before they send the automatic double team. Look, there was even hesitation from Cervantes to go and help and challenge that shot as compared to game number 1. They were double teaming right